All right, you all. Hello, hello, hello. Come in, hit that like and hit that share button. And this is a Friday night live stream. I've been so busy, probably within the last 2 weeks, that I just haven't had the time or the desire to live stream. But let's talk about the Fed's announcement today. So come in, come in, come in. Hit that like and share button. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Also, say hello. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Text Rich to the number on the screen if you would like to get updates on whenever I am publicly and privately doing live streams. I do private live streams for my business partners as well. Also, doubly note that it is almost September. September the 26th ends the Shemitah year, which means which is my birthday after September 26th. Hey, the bottom is predicted to fall out according to the Bible and biblical calendar. So, hey, you want to prepare for Shemitah year, and the government is already coming out making announcements that worser time, if worser is a word, but that worse times are ahead. So if you would like to join a home-based business to make more money from home and to maximize the amount of money that you're getting paid out of your paycheck and increase your credit scores, and if you are a small business owner, to increase your capital gains, text cash flow to the number on the screen, because doing that will get you more information on how to increase your cash flow, whether you're a business owner or um, a W 2 employee. So let's get right into what's going on with the world's economy, right? Matt is already wishing me, it's 9:26, Matt, but thank you on Facebook for wishing me a happy early birthday. Shout out to Libra Nation, even though this month is, what is it, Leo? I don't know, Virgo. I don't know. All I know is all about the Libras, right? That I know of 926. So Jerome Powell, Fed chairman, is saying, hey, I'm bracing Americans for job losses, a lot of job losses coming ahead, according to the government. So what better time to have a work from home plan in place for you and your family? And inflation fight continues. Atlanta Fed president, this was just released. So Jerome Powell is hawkish at the annual Jackson Hole Summit. And yeah, he says that expanded economic pain that Americans should brace for. Now, if you're not bracing for this pain, tell me, what are your plans? Or is your plan is not have a plan? Is your plan is to just simply hope for the best and to not do any practical actions? Right? I tell people all the time, the Bible is a very practical book. It's more practical than it is spiritual, but most people, unfortunately, only look at it as a spiritual book and concept. Spiritual meaning that things will happen, as Esther used to say, Fred Sanford and Son, in mysterious ways. But things don't always have to happen in mysterious ways. The Bible is a very practical book about preparation, and especially for times like this, in a recession that is predicted to be a depression. So, preparing people for the possibility that as the economy slow down, we might have some job losses. We might have slowing down of business. We don't know exactly how much it will be. My hope is that if it happens, it will be relatively a mild impact. Jerome Powell continued. I don't think it is in our interest to have people be surprised if that comes to pass. And you should not be surprised. People, like clockwork, recessions have happened every 10 years. It's nothing mysterious about it. It's nothing spooky. It's nothing that you should be saying that you bind and you um, will not participate in a recession. Why not participate in a recession? Now is the time to get rich, right? The richest you've ever been in this generation, if you make the right moves. Now, this is a disclaimer statement that I'm making. If you make the right moves, the best time to increase your net worth is during a recession. Also, you can expect gas prices. Hello, John Jordan from California. Oh, I love that avatar picture, man. You got that. You working that hat. I don't know if that's a fedora, but you're working it. Greetings and salutations to you as well. Thank you for tuning in from the West Coast, California. So thank you for tuning in from Cali, right? Now, Russia is burning in the sound of Usher, let it burn, 10 million a day, people, a day of natural gas that's destined for Germany before the Moscow choked off supply. Now, if you know anything about burning supply, especially when it comes to the crypto world, you know that crypto coins are often burned, which means it cuts the supply and demand, which is going to spike up the price. So if natural gas is being burned, that will go elsewhere. 10 million a day, then people do the math. You can expect higher gas prices. Some people are predicting that premium will be as high as $10 a gallon going into this fall after September 26th and going into the winter months. Russia is burning off a large amounts of natural gas worth $10 million a day, according to Rystad Energy. The gas would previously been exported to Germany during the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Russia has slashed its gas exports to Europe, stoking an energy crisis, people, that will have prices soaring. So they are cutting off. So when you look at OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum, give me as I'm saying, 3M stock is down, right? When you look at OPEC and its supply to the United States, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, right? They are cutting oil production, and it's just not in um, other countries. It's not just for Germany. It's going to be for the United States going into the fall. United States need at least 1.2 million. All right, it's a fedora, okay? I love those fedora. 1.2 million a day. And as of right now, we only have United States with OPEC Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries have only agreed to supply the United States with approximately 748,000 going into the fall, into the winter, which means it's not going to be enough. You know, they don't like the United States anyway, so I don't know why President Biden thinks going over there asking these countries that don't like us to help us with the barrel of oil production is going to help. So, as the Game of Thrones states, this is going to be a harsh winter, people. Winter is coming with the vengeance. So, oil is higher on the U.S. response to the Iran nuclear deal. This is released today. So, this is in Inglewood for my Californians. In Los Angeles, California, oil prices fell on Wednesday, taking a breath away. But people, when I tell you this is just going to be a temporary price slash, right? It going into the fall and winter, it definitely is. Um, Now we are in hurricane season, and in my state, in my area, we've already experienced flooding right now. And now we don't know the demand on the oil during hurricane seasons in other, and especially in the southern areas. So crude oil settled at settled up to $1 to $100.22 a gallon. Both benchmarks fell by more than $1. Oil was also supported after Saudi Arabia suggested this week that the organization, and that's OPEC, of petroleum exporting countries, could consider cutting output. People, they meet on September the 5th. So, through bearish economic signals from central bankers and failing equities weighed, both crude oil benchmark and contracts touched through a 3-week highs earlier on Wednesday, said Saudi energy minister flagged the possibility of cutting production. Now, we probably will have a more sound or stable or definite decision on September the 5th. OPEC sources later told Reuters that any cuts by the producer group and allies, collectively known as OPEC Plus, are likely to coincide with the return of Iranian oil to the market and to secure a nuclear deal with the world powers. OPEC is already producing 2.9 barrels a day per less than its target. You all see that? It's in black and white. Producing 2.9 barrels a day less than its target. That's 2.9 million less. So any decisions on cuts on how to calculate any future output reduction, right, is going to really cause a global oil supply that will take peak in the United States during hurricane season. Future outages in other countries such as Libya, Nigeria, oil futures also show little signs of improving. So, although the U.S. oil prices fell in the U.S. government, and they're saying that the United States government showed a lackluster demand for gasoline, right? Now, with that being said, the daily gasoline products supply 7% below the year-end period. Also, note that gasoline usually increases in the winter months as well because some type of different material, some chemicals, different sources is made a gasoline in the winter than in the summer months, right? So you got crypto now, S&P 500 crashed 1,000 points. Even though Bitcoin may be a decentralized currency, right? It is still controlled by the pump and dump news, just like all other digital currencies of pump and dump news that the government gives. So, in my opinion, in essence, cryptocurrency still is under government's control anytime governments can make announcements. And so it's stocks that can pump the market or dump the market. That's why I always have my backup plan of God's money, which is physical silver as well, in the investing portfolio. So, people, listen, I'm going to say this. If you don't want to test cash flow, if you don't want to test cash flow to understand what the home-based business is, my get you some type of work from home or work from phone opportunity, because jobs market are going to be slashed, and the government it has already announced today that jobs are going to be lost. So you can take this lightly, just because I'm saying this politely. But people, we're about to enter in something that this generation has never seen. So most times, oftentimes, people, when they have opportunities to something that will build wealth for them and their family and generational wealth, the uneducated, the financially uneducated will call it a get rich quick scheme, or get rich quick scheme or scam. But this is my take on that. You better have a something that helps you get rich quick because you don't have time to get rich slow. Let me say that again. You better have something that can help you increase and maximize the money, your take home pay out of your paycheck. You better have something that helps you add more tax deduction to your S Corp or C Corp, wherever you reside. You better have something with the IRS adding 87,000 agents. And guess what they're going to do? They're telling you Americans making under 400K will be audited. Do you think they're giving you these government student loans forgiveness out of the kindness of their heart? Free money, free debt forgiven always comes with inflation. So introduce student loan forgiveness, boom, they're going to get it back from you at the gas and grocery prices astronomically going to the fall into the winter months. The government always has a plan to get their money back. CBO, yes, Americans making under 400K will get audited. United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen testifies before a Senate Finance Committee hearing on President Biden's 2023 budget. This was June 7th. White House Press Secretary made an inaccurate statement when she told reporters no, very clear, in response to a question about anyone making under 400K will face new audits. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that about $4 billion in revenue over the next 10 years will be traced to new auditing efforts funded by Inflation Reduction Act, targeting taxpayers that report less than 400,000. Some taxpayers reporting income of less than 400K on their tax return will be found to have more income than they've reported. Despite the claims from the Biden administration's officials that the funding of the IRS will not increase auditing burden on individuals and small businesses, a Friday letter from Congressional Budget Office, CBO, revealed that new auditing activity targeting taxpayers who report less than 400,000 per year will be expected to generate about $4 billion in revenue. So they're going to target because that generates revenue for them. And anytime the government slashes or gives you most people talk about the debt jubilee in the Bible. This is the debt jubilee, but they don't know on the front end you might get student loan forgiveness, you might get credit card forgiveness, but they're going to get that back on the back end from you through inflation, through a job loss. So if you don't have a get rich quick plan, you better find one because you don't have the time to get rich slow. And most people pass up on the very opportunities that will help them maximize their money. Most people do not have enough money to invest right now. They are using this in a mindset of gambling at the casino. They want to pull the lever and hopefully put a little money in and have big cash outs. But let me tell you something, people. If you are a gambler, I don't care if you're my friend, family, or whatever, and you need help in this recession, I'm not doing it because you could have easily invested your money versus gambling. Now, there are some Ponzi schemes out there that you should be aware of, but legitimate home-based business tax deductions, right? 80 billion IRS infusion means more audits are coming. This is going to be your biggest fight is inflation and having tax deductions. John says, what are your thoughts on gold and silver? I don't be more specific with that question. What do you mean? What are my thoughts on it? Other than it's God's money, it's going to be used to reset the currency system. It's capital gains investment, but it is not cash flowing investment. I do believe that as you see more cash less accepted businesses, that when this depression comes into full throttle and happens, right, that silver will be accepted for exchanges of groceries and things like that when this currency system reset happen. So make sure you have silver on hand for those exchanges. As far as gold goes, I think for the everyday middle class, even though the price of gold and silver and crypto and stocks took a dive today, I don't think at $1,800 an ounce that most middle class Americans can afford silver and also, I mean, gold, and also silver gives you the highest return on your investment during a bull run. So if you are technically considering yourself middle class, everyone should be able to afford a $25 an ounce auto shipment of silver to their home. And so you can visit my website, Queen of Coin Silver, for more information about that. Right? But this is going to be really bad as the market crashed today. And this is all I'm saying, that if you do not have a tax plan, inflation plan, if you don't have good credit, if you are paying high interest rates, right, then with all sincerity, if you don't have, most people think that when the money comes, my mindset will change. Whenever I get the money, I just need, when I get the money, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then no, your mindset has to change in order to get the money. The difference between the rich and the poor working class, and the upper middle class, which are six-figure income earners, is how they use their money, how they understand money, and how they understand that cash currency should be used, when, especially when you have extra, to invest. Ryan says he stick to fractional gold coins. I don't like fractional gold or silver coins, Ryan. This is why. Because number one, selling your gold for a loaf of bread is like selling a Bitcoin. It's like the guy that sold his Bitcoin for Papa John's pizza. Like, who will want to sell their gold for groceries? Really, who will want to sell gold for groceries? But when you're desperate and you're hungry, you will, whatever exchange take. When you can get an industrial coin like silver, and silver has a greater return on investment during bull runs than gold. Once you look at the silver to gold ratio, these are investing education that people have not studied. Once you look at the silver to gold ratio, when you look at the silver to gold ratio, it tells you, it informs you which is better to invest in, silver or gold. And right now, the silver to gold ratio is in favor of silver. Also, with silver being an industrial metal, as you have states banning gas powered vehicles. So, what does that mean, Queen? Well, that means that you're going to have Tesla that's going to be big, any electronic vehicles, any RFID chips, 5G Wi Fi technology, phone batteries for digital currencies. It's all going to be powered by silver, solar panels. So it makes financial sense to invest in silver right now over gold. And since 2011, JP Morgan has hoarded over 350 million ounces of silver. That's 38% of the world's population. So if you were trying to take a fraction of a gold piece, that's hard to calculate in exchange for groceries. Because when this depression and recession comes, the announcements are going to be made of what you can purchase by the ounce. And yes, silver will be in high demand. Also, there was a global shortage on silver in 2020 announced just 2 years ago. It never said there was a global supply shortage on gold. So California became the first state in the nation this week to issue a phase out of gas powered vehicles. And other states are planning on following their footsteps for my California Fedora, Mr. John Jordan, that's on. So once you see what's being done, then now you know how to invest smart and intelligently and follow the money. So they're going to phase out gas powered vehicles by 2030. And again, in my state, there have been a lot of vehicles that was on sales lot that were flooded out, that were gas powered vehicles. So, it's just things like that that's happening as solar panels. People cannot afford their utility bills. They're going to look for solar panels. And Nikola Tesla, trying to see if I have his book on hand, he foresaw this and said this years ago, that there will be time that we will have to, and this is also biblical prophecy, but a transition away from crude oil, natural gas, all of that will be made. I don't have my book. Where we get the name Elon Musk of Tesla vehicles. And when Nikola Tesla died in his hotel room in New York, the very first person in his room was Donald Trump's um, uncle, John Trump. And they took and confiscated all of his research and records of studying natural energy. He was truly a man before his time, and he really received this information from the ancient Egyptians, from studying ancient Egyptians. So he definitely brought this concept to the United States. And so, with that being said, people, Nikola Tesla said that there can never be free energy. We're about to move to free energy unless the powers that be that want it. But I think energy will be cheaper, but it won't be free. So now, simply put, you have money to set up electrical grids and infrastructure. And so if you're not paying for energy, these electronic companies still gonna have infrastructure to find a way to monetize the energy from the creator of this universe. So again, if you don't have a taxation plan, if you don't have an inflation plan moving forward, good evening to you all. Creative Flow says on the Nextdoor app, they are talking about how their electric bill jumped from 300. Whoa. Wow. From 300 to 1,086, from 345 to, wow. Yeah, I mean, my last live stream was now there's a utility crisis. Americans cannot afford their utility bills. And this is the thing. So many Americans, because of the news and media, have been programmed to talk about problems all the time that they don't want to talk about the solutions. There are so I listen, I'm gonna show this to you all. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up and show this to you. As they're saying, it's already 20 million or to some. No, I don't want to claim that offer. Or to some of shutoffs. 20 million Americans are behind. If I can get this, um, if I can't get this because I don't want to claim that offer. But this is Bloomberg. People are getting their electricity bills shut out. 20 million U.S. homes are behind on their energy bills. People were not even in the fall and winter. Surging electricity prices, worst ever crisis, and late utility payments. About 1 out of 6 American households are behind on their utility bills, the highest number on record. And this was August 23rd. Because of the extreme heat. And we're not even approaching as natural gas production is cut down. Extreme cold. Usually, what follows a really extreme heated summer is a really, really cold winter. It's a very cold winter. That's usually what follows an extremely hot summer. And most Americans are so accustomed to talking about problems, their mind has not been programmed to talk about solutions. I really want to ask you, what the hell is talking about problems going to do you? Nobody's coming to save you. The cavalry is not even these churches. I'm definitely not, because I got to look out for me and my household first. I'm just being honest with you, straight up. You wonder why these pastors now are putting the hammer down on people not. The pastor from Kansas City is talking about the congregation didn't buy him a watch and asking them, is your McDonald's money? And I'm not worthy of your McDonald's money. And see, when you haven't taught your congregation financial literacy and you don't have the foresight about the recession, then you start talking about how they're not giving and how they should tithe now more than ever. But what if people don't have a tithe to give you as job losses are coming? What's the plan for those people that maybe were tithers? So on this video, someone left a comment, great information. We must put this in effect, not make excuses. Being set in our old ways and absorbing new information can be scary, but a new era is quickly approaching. And this is the pivot point. Break old habits, create new ones that will benefit our children, right? Starve the beast. Now, if you don't know what starve the beast is, I'm going to show you the video that shows you what starve the beast mean. And I put on here, it's not complicated. Start a home-based business. People want to make it complicated. But let me tell you this, as Robert Kiyosaki's opened up this video, the tax rules. Some of you all are going to wish that you took action and you changed your poverty mindset. And and that you realize, I would rather take action and stumble across success than to not do anything at all. That was like Jesus' encounter with the man at the pool of Bethesda. The man at the pool of Bethesda had so many complaints. Nobody would put me in the pool so I would get healing. Well, hell, everybody that was at the pool of Bethesda had their own sickness and ailments. And then my question is, why would broke people listen to broke people? That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. When my cousin said, this is a scam, your cousin is broke. Like, how can you get financial success for somebody that's not financially successful? Will just text the number on the screen. I'll send it to you. Even though it's, kind of late night, I'll send it to you now. Like, really justify how you're listening to your broke friends and family members. How are you convincing them, or how are they convincing you to stop an opportunity that can help you increase your cash flow and to maximize your paycheck? Better yet, how are you convincing yourself? Because you only have 4 months in this year. And if you don't understand this, what I'm about to show in this video, you unfortunately is going to be in that percentage of people that's going to be pushed more down in the poverty line. People are so programmed, thank you, Allison, to CNN, constant negative news. They don't want to talk about solutions. They don't. You want to talk about the problems all the time. You have the stats in front of you. You're seeing what's in your bank account. You know the possibility of a job loss, and yet you still want to talk about the problems. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Hey, William. William, I'm texting you this link right now live because I texted to you already on June 12th. So let me know if you received it. But let's watch this real quick, you all.
The tax rules for corporate guys is less than employees. Employees pay the highest taxes.
Yeah.
Guys like Trump and me pay zero.
And people are angry at that, which is very interesting. People are very angry at people that don't pay taxes, which is, again, a proof that people cannot wrap their heads around that.
Because they've been hypnotized and go to school, get a job.
And so that's where people are. And so
what were the charges on which you're convicted?
Willful failure to file. I did not file tax returns. I stopped filing tax returns when I found out. So willful failure to file is a misdemeanor, right? So I wasn't indicted. When you indict somebody, that's a felony, but it's called an information. So they filled out an information. They charged me with willful failure to file for 4 years. And guess what they did? They gave me a 4-year sentence instead of doing it concurrent. A misdemeanor, the definition of misdemeanor is jail for 1 year or less. But they gave me a 4-year sentence on a misdemeanor charge. Sure did. Yeah.
So there, as far as you're aware, there's no law requiring you to file. However, there's a law for failure to file.
Well, no, it's some regulations that they put together. In other words, what they did was, I don't want to call it ingenious, but all of those codes and regulations all mixed together, they made penalties for failure to file, but you have to be required to file. Some people are required to file, depending on what kind of income you have, but most people that live and work in the 50 states are not in that.
So who's required to file?
Foreign corporations, Americans that are living abroad, and for the privilege, other people that come in here for the privilege of being able to work in the United States. So, for example, we get all this junk from China. China is supposed to be paying us a ton of money, like an excise tax for sending all that stuff over here. But somewhere along the line with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and the blue dress or whatever, China got most favored nation status. So all of the tax that all these other countries and some of the foreign corporations are supposed to be paying has been laid on the middle class. Now, wealthy people get they don't pay a lot of tax because they have all these loopholes that the poor people don't have. And they have the loopholes because the people that write these little codes and stuff give them loopholes. So
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. She said wealthy people don't have taxes because they have a lot of loopholes that poor people don't have. And you all keep falling for the dangling carrot that these politicians come and tell you and say, hey, we're gonna lower your taxes. We're gonna tax the rich. You keep year after year, you keep falling for this. Just like you keep falling for that Calvary is gonna come save you. There's gonna be a rapture. Year after year, if I just vote Democrat, if I just vote Republican, this politician said he's going to lower taxes. And it has never happened. People, let me tell you something. Your politicians, whether they're Democrat or not, whether you feel like you can relate to them or not, they're rich. They're going to remain rich. And they're going to keep their generational wealth. And they're not going to change the tax laws to favor the poor. They're not. They are absolutely not. Ding dong, knock, knock, knock. Get that in your brain. They're not going to do it. That's why 5% of the population controls 95% of the wealth. And the other 95% of the population that earn income in a certain tax bracket in a certain way only has 5% of the wealth. You know, I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to continue to play this. Nikola Tesla said it this way. He said, what most people, what one man called God, another calls the law of physics. People, this is just the law of finances. It's just the law of finance. If you don't want to get that, you can just simply work until you die. You know, you all, and I haven't live streamed some days, so I guess I'm bringing it tonight. But I made a post on Facebook and a person responded. I said, what if the Black community and minorities emphasize and push financial literacy as hard as they emphasize and push religion? And a Black woman commented on my post and said, well, we had to push religion because of Jim Crow, and pushing religion during Jim Crow made us love through the pain and through the punishment. And my response to her was that doesn't make you question anything. As you again mistreated, abused, being, that you're taught a philosophy that makes you love, inspire. And I'm not saying to hate, but that doesn't make you think. To me, that's detrimental, that type of thinking, as the Willie Lynch letter. Because that type of thinking always make poor people look at external power versus internal power. I look at public school teachers, for example. I said all public school teachers have to do to get a pay raise in their work is come together and go on strike. That's all they have to do. Across the United States said we are not reporting to work until we get pay raises we deserve. That would put a halt in this country instantly. Because then parents that have children can't afford to go to work if their children are staying at home and teachers don't show up to teach them. And if the parents can't go to work, that put a house on society. All public school teachers have to do is come together and say we are getting overworked and underpaid, and we want to stop and we want to recognize for our work. But they will not come together because you've been taught religious mindset that you should expect your reward in the by and by when the Bible straight up tells you that the highest heaven belongs to the Lord, but the earth he has given unto mankind. God's kingdom is already established. He said, I made you your whole purpose on being on this earth. It's so that you can walk in your greatness in your earth realm, in this earth realm. But people have been taught the opposite. And that's exactly what they want you to think like. They don't want you to stand up. They don't want you to voice yourself. They don't want you to recognize your worth. They want you to expect it in the by and by. And to think that living paycheck to paycheck is godly and is noble when it's not. There's no nobility in being broke, as the Wolf of Wall Street quote directly. There's no nobility in that. Living paycheck to paycheck. Struggling. I've heard this quote, one of the biggest scams is working 40 plus hours a week and you're still broke. And then people are so mentally misconstrued that they don't even get, they work harder at what's not already working. Dave Ramsey sells you another religious concept of get a second job. Well, hell, the first job ain't working, Dave. So now I'm exchanging a whole lot of my time for more money that's depreciating by the day. So you have not been taught to invest. You have not been taught to make your money work harder for you. And then we have this woke community. And Billy Carson told you woke does not mean broke. But you got this woke community that see, Queen, I told you it was illegal to pay taxes. I told you that our taxation system was robbery. But if you listen to Miss Jackson talk about this, she tell you that she went to jail for trying to share that message. And if you want to participate in trying to be a sovereign citizen, either the FBI gonna come knocking on your door or you're gonna live like a pauper, meaning that you're gonna live in poverty. Woke doesn't mean broke. I'm woke. I know I should be a sovereign citizen. See, I got my birth certificate changed, but I'm working on the other. Have you looked at the lifestyle of people that saying they're sovereign citizenship? They live in poverty. When you can simply do it through a home-based business. And that's what Sherry Peel Jackson did. After she spent 4 years in jail for spreading this mess, she said, let me teach people how to starve the beast. And then another thing people will ask sometimes, is it a monthly subscription? I'm like, yes, it's a monthly, if you want to call it subscription, because people are so accustomed to calling an investment a subscription because their bills say subscription. It's really not a monthly subscription. It's a monthly investment to create instant cash flow for you. But because it's a monthly investment, they just made the annual benefits that you're going to get when you file taxes January 1st or before April the 15th. They just put it in smaller increments. Do you just want to pay everything all up front? That's fine. Just tell them. Just tell them, I'm a person that don't like monthly fees. Let me just pay my annual subscription up front. I'm pretty sure that customer service will meet their obligation for you. But people, it is a mindset thing, and it's a lack of financial education. You have been programmed to think that it's noble to live with low income. You have been programmed to think that some external source, whether it's the government, whether it's the cavalry, whether it's your pastor, whether it's a friend that you can borrow money, it's supposed to save you. No, you're supposed to save yourself. All right, so let's finish watching this, that if you don't understand this, you're not even on a pathway to a better financial lifestyle.
So the tax code as it's written is made for businesses. But all of us that work every day, we are expending our life energy every day in exchange for resources so that we can live. And that's an even exchange, no matter how you look at it. So even if you believe that there's a law, it's not moral because it's slavery. And what I always say is if you are taking someone's labor at 100% and you are exploiting their labor and it's slavery, at what percentage is it not slavery?
I've heard sometimes people change the acronym to "it's really stealing." But
Right.
I guess your point is it's really slavery.
It is. Think about how slavery is. You go over there and work, and I'll give you a little food.
I've heard sometimes people change the acronym to "it's really stealing." But
Right.
I guess your point is it's really slavery.
It is. Think about how slavery is. You go over there and work, and I'll give you a little food and water, and then you work every day. Well, what's the difference? I mean, most of the people that are in the grind, they're just surviving. We're sick of just surviving. We want to thrive too.
But you basically teach people now how to break free from this slavery.
Right. So 95 to 99% of the people are not going to stand up and try to cut the head off the beast like I did. And I don't recommend that because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through at the hands of the beast. But what I do now is help people starve the beast. So most people are going to say, okay, I believe you and all that, but I'm too scared not to file because I don't want to go to jail and I don't want to take my stuff. So there are ways that you can work within the system and not have a risk of going to jail, but still keep more of what you earn. And that's what I teach people.
And you want to give a couple examples?
Well, an example of that is, you got a job and you want to make sure that I just got an email this morning from somebody that said they made $38,000. They took $10,000 out, and the IRS on this 2019 tax return is still saying they owe $800 more. So this person made $38,000 and is supposedly owing $10,800. That's just crazy. It's just crazy. So what you do is you can start a home-based business. Remember, I said that they have the tax code, all, whatever it is, and it's for businesses. So if you start a business, then you can deduct things that you already do, like your cell phone. That's a deduction. Your internet, all these things that normally that you're paying for, they can become business deductions. And that's what businesses do. A lot of corporations like Netflix and all these people, they don't pay taxes because they have all these deductions, and a lot of wealthy people have all these loopholes and deductions. Well, the American people need to learn these things and not just stay focused on having a job, which is okay, but do something different. When you come home, don't turn on the electronic income reducer called the TV. Don't turn it on. Decompress, eat your dinner, spend some time with your family, and then do a business. You can make money and you have all these deductions. And that's basically one of the biggest things that people can do to help themselves get out of the rat race.
Okay, like she said, you can make money and you can still have deductions. That's the name of the game. Having a home-based business. Most people, unfortunately, I can tell the people that need more financial education, they look to invest first. They don't even take account of, okay, what amount of my investment when I cash out will the government take if I don't protect it? Don't send me these text messages about what cryptos are doing. Well, I don't care about that. If you don't have tax deduction to protect the money that you're flipping through investing, if that's what you're doing, that lets me know where your financial education is. And please don't text my phone this late at night if it's not texting cash flow. I'm just on a whole different level. Where we're going in this economy, I don't have time for people that's playing these games. You don't know how XRP or crypto is going to crash. You don't know what way it's going to take. You don't know how gold and silver is going to crash. You don't know how your 401k is going to crash. You don't know how the stock market is going to crash because the government news controls all of them. The one thing that you can control is your cash flow. The one thing you can protect is the money you're making, because they're not hiring 87,000 agents and looking to audit people that make under 400K just to leave you alone and let you be because you're low income. So if you want more of your investments taken away, then keep on working a job and taking that job income and putting it in investments and not have a tax strategy. You won't be wealthy for long. The rich and wealthy don't play those games. They never invest without having tax shelters. They never invest solely from a job into investments, and they don't have a home-based business tax deductions. You don't believe me? Come on, we can watch some more. Cause I mean, I've been sharing this for like years, and some people still don't get it in their brain. And this is what keep people poor.
What about going overseas or offshore, as some people like to say?
That's something for people who have gotten a little bit further on. You know, after you're beginning and after you're making money in your business, then yeah, you can start corporations abroad and you can start businesses abroad and making sure that that money is overseas. And there's a lot of things you can do. But for the beginner, just go ahead and get your home-based business.
So the question is, how do the rich not pay taxes? Okay. The multi-step process, let's start with this one first, keep it small, is here you go to school, get a job, you become an employee, but you learn nothing about taxes. Then you become a little entrepreneur, you start your little falafel shop business or whatever you start, right? So that self-employed, small business. And then you have big business, 500 employees or more, or I for investor. So Tom, how much tax do employees pay?
Well, typically if they're making a good salary, and this is, by the way, the same rates around the world, typically it's going to be about 40%.
40%. And after the Trump tax cut, did that change much?
Not much. It didn't.
So if you're I'm going to start my own little business, I'm going to, start my little pizza shop or my coffee shop, how much do these guys pay?
Well, now it goes up because you're paying both your share of the taxes plus the employer share of the taxes because you've got both sides. So now it goes up as high as 60%.
So when you hear a young person, an old guy like me say, I'm going to start my own business, they don't know anything about taxes, do they?
No, and in fact, this is the place where people get in trouble because over here, the money's being taken out of your paycheck. But here, you're responsible for your taxes. And so what happens is that you go, let's say you're successful with your pizza shop, right? All of a sudden, tax time comes around. Oh no, I've spent all my money and I don't have money to pay the taxes. And people go out of business real fast here.
So until you want to learn this, where you think taxes is boring, I don't care if you have your own business. I had to learn the hard way. I had an S corporation for my real estate, LLC, got with a tax person that did not have tax knowledge, found out that on an annual basis and sometimes a monthly basis that you have to pay taxes on these corporations. End up paying 3 years of back taxes because I was working with a tax person that didn't have the knowledge information, and then translate that to me. So you have taxes, bigger taxes to pay in a business entity. Then you get 40% if you're an employee. And you're wondering why you're struggling financially. Or you're wondering why I only have a couple of hundreds to put into silver and gold or crypto. Because you don't have a strategy to get your money back that's being taken away. And even if you flip real estate or crypto, or you cash out a gold or silver for capital gains, if you don't have a strategy to keep the money you're making, you're going to remain poor. You're going to go from a thousandaire back to a middle class person because you don't have tax strategies. That's the most important thing now that you have to get more than ever, than anything. because the tax law is not written for you. As Robert Kiyosaki said, you've been programmed. Go to school, get a good job, pay taxes. Exchange a whole lot of your time for a little bit of hours. Do you look at the tax deductions from lottery winners? Why do you think lottery winners go broke after winning the lottery? People, this is not rocket science. This is financial literacy 101.
Well, it is surprising because a lot of the millennials do want to start up their own small little business, right? And what they're not aware of is that they're going to be in the 60% tax bracket.
Because taxes are your single largest expense. So if you're going to start your own business, you got to be aware of taxes here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, big business as 500 employees or more, how much do they pay?
Typically around the world, about 20%.
Now, why is it that big business people pay less than small business?
Well, basically, the government wants us to do certain things, and they'll give us incentives if we do them. And what they want out of a big business is they want employment. So they want to create employment because that creates stability in the country.
Jobs,
right? And so the more jobs you create, actually, the more tax benefit you get.
Well, look at Amazon right now. They're looking at moving their company. How many tax benefits are they getting?
Oh my heavens, they pay very, very little tax. Amazon does, and they pay, you talk about all those different kinds of taxes. Not only do they pay very little income tax, but they're also paying very little sales tax and employment taxes and all those others because they're getting benefits from multiple types of government: the federal government, state government, the city government.
Is that how Elon Musk started his battery?
And so I made this statement about public school teachers. They would just come together, say we're getting overworked and underpaid. Same thing with police officers, putting their life on the line, firefighters. There's no nobility in being broke, getting the lowest pay for the highest calling that you can do in this earth realm. But people have been so programmed to think and vibrate on lower frequencies when it comes to money. From a religious perspective, that they feel like those jobs should come with low income when it's the highest calling of protecting other people and putting your life on the line, or raising up a generation of children or firefighters. People have been so programmed of putting in. Who told you that it's hard work to become richer? See, millionaires, billionaires, decamillionaires, they abide by the 80-20 rule, which means they look into systems that they have to put in 20% of their time, energy, and efforts to get an 80% outcome. But people that are middle class, they put in 80% of their time, energy, and efforts to get 20% of income. If your income is not giving you the expected outcome, you got to change your strategy or remain as you are and do not prepare for this Great Depression that's coming ahead starting in October. Queen out, you all. Make sure you hit like and share button. Whether you like the message or not, it may be for somebody else. It could be life-changing for someone else. Like and share the video. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for saying hello. And I hope that you got a wealth of knowledge out of this. If you didn't, it's because you choose to close your mindset. Be safe, you all. Queen out.